Hello, Kuman229 here, another Topic League video, and this week I'll be discussing Samurai Jack. More specifically, one of the more controversial aspects of its unfortunately disappointing final season. This week's topic was submitted by Tumblr anon, and their topic is: could you tell us why you felt that Ashi being a love interest was a bad move that hurt the show? Okay. Ashi, when she was first introduced in Season 5, was a brainwashed assassin for Aku. That's basically what she was. She had sisters, and they all were tasked with killing Jack. So they go there, and ultimately there's a big fight, and Jack ends up killing all of them except Ashi. Now, a lot of us, when we were watching the show as it aired, we were really hoping that Ashi would end up becoming, like a sidekick to Jack, and that's exactly what happened. And they had this like mentor-student, and even in some cases it felt more like a father-daughter relationship. And, it was actually really cool. I love that. I've said this before. I love, surrogate father-daughter stuff. Basically surrogate parents, and it's great. And then Ashi, out of nowhere, turns into Jack's love interest. I haven't talked about this as much in my videos, but the last season of Samurai Jack started off really good. The first 7 episodes, they had some flaws. I'm not gonna lie, they had to have some flaws, but overall they were good, and I would accept them as canon. But the last 3 episodes just said, hey, what if we screw everything up? And they were making all these good decisions before, and building up Jack back to being Samurai Jack. And by episode 7, he finally regained his original look. He was clean shaven, his hair was pulled back, he had his sword back, he was in his original outfit. And we're just thinking, alright, we're gearing up. The last 3 episodes, this is all going to be leading up to the final battle with Aku. And then episode 8 happens. The only way that I can describe this is it felt like it came straight out of a fanfic. Like a one-shot Jack/Ashi fanfic. And it had nothing to do with anything. The episode was total filler, and with a 10-episode season that's meant to conclude a series that had been long dormant, 10 episodes isn't a lot, especially when you introduce a lot of new elements like the Daughters of Aku. And they had a filler episode that did nothing but, out of nowhere, push Jack and Ashi as love interests. What? They even acted like, teenagers. Like, okay, Ashi's young, inexperienced, and obviously has only known the life of an assassin. Her being flustered is one thing, but she never acted like that before. At no point has she ever acted like that with Jack before that episode. And Jack is just like the, oh no, I don't know what to do with girls. And I'm like, what? Like, and it just comes out of nowhere. There's no build-up. There's no, the relationship, like I said, felt very student-mentor. And in some cases, an outright father-daughter relationship. Especially when they're contrasting Jack's, Jack's actions with Ashi's mother's actions, particularly relating to, the ladybug, when, when Jack lets the ladybug on his finger, and then, her mother just crushed it because she was evil. We had this whole little, episode that was all about Ashi sort of, trying to figure out her own identity. And it was a great, fan service episode where we got to see a bunch of, references to the original run of the show. And I had high hopes for Ashi's character, but, all of a sudden, it's just they just decided, you know what, let's just throw away everything that we had done with her character and just turn her into a love interest. And you know why they did that? You know why? So that she could die at the end. So that she could cause Jack to question his quest. Jack, after spending 50 years in universe without his sword, having lost it, having become unworthy of it, he gets the sword back, finally, after going through a lot of internal, meditation and going to some, spirit realm. He gets it back, and when Ashi's life is threatened, he gives up the sword. So Jack, after having the whole season had been building up to Jack coming in and finally beating Aku, they have to wait until a rushed finale at the last second to really actually have him fight. And it's not even a satisfying fight. This whole, like, that last part of the season was just so unsatisfying. I would have rather they not made the last season at all. I would have rather have just been left guessing, because that would have been more satisfying. Ashi being turned into a love interest ruined the show. And it's not the only thing that ruined the show. You know, the ending, just the last 3 episodes just felt like it had nothing to do with the first 7 of the season. In a lot of ways, nothing that went on. It was like full of a bunch of cheap references to the old show. There was no build, like the fact that they had the Scotsman's ghost, you know, in an early episode. You would expect him to come back and work with Jack to build up an army like it was implied he was going to do. Nah, doesn't really happen. And basically anything that you would think that was going to happen doesn't. Because it's all derailed for this, you know, for this whole love story. This cliche love story. And then they freaking ripped off Tig Topa Gurren Lagann, which is not a show you should be ripping off because of its horrid writing and stupid choices. Because like at the end when Nia dies, and then, you know, right after she and Simone get married, they copy that with Jack and Ashi because they had this big wedding, because that's exactly what everyone wanted to see. We wanted to see Jack's wedding. We didn't want to see, you know, Jack defeating Aku and restoring, you know, the past. We didn't want to see him getting back to the past. We didn't want to see him reuniting with his parents again. Though apparently they de-aged. Just inconsistencies abound. But no. What we really wanted to see, apparently, from what whoever wrote those episodes thought, was Jack's wedding. So, and then Ashi, because they caused a time paradox with time travel by killing Aku in the past, and implying that they completely erased the entire future timeline, which basically ruins the entire show, because everything that we've gotten attached to in the future, as dark as it was, there were characters that we cared about. There were stories that we cared about. Basically all erased. At least that's what's being implied with Ashi. And it's like they did all this just so that Jack could be sad at the end because Ashi died. You have Jack finally complete his mission, but oh no, his new girlfriend / new wife just died. And I guess, you know, now he's sad. Oh yeah, also implies that we completely, you know, erase the future timeline, which makes all the times that he sacrificed a chance to go back, or a chance to, you know, get away, when, you know, to go and help people in the future, was totally pointless because everything is erased anyway, which ruins so many. Because I remember, I think it was that one episode with the archers who were, you know, possessed. And I think there was like a portal, but he ends up like destroying it so to free them. I don't remember the exact thing, but I remember that situation, and I was like, okay, so that's all pointless. All of Jack's self-sacrifice was pointless because, you know, it's all erased. Why? Because we needed a sad scene at the end where Jack's love interest died. Jack didn't need a love interest. Ashi didn't need to be a love interest. In fact, her character was far more interesting, being, you know, someone who is being awakened from her brainwashing, breaking free from this assassin role that she was bred for, and she was brainwashed into, becoming her own person. The leaf dress, as ridiculous as some people found it, was Ashi turning over a new leaf. Yuck, yuck. But it was something that she made herself. She, you know, she was having her own identity now, and all of a sudden, boom, all gone. Because now she's just Jack's tragic love interest. I mean, yes, there are other issues, but this is the big thing that happened when they just started making out at the end of episode 8. Like, in and out of place with, like, what, 60s music playing. I'm like, what? Like, okay, if they built up Jack and Ashi having feelings for each other from early episodes, then okay, it wouldn't be as bad. I mean, the finale still would have sucked, considering how it was written. But if they built up there was an attraction between them from the very beginning, then okay, you know, it wouldn't be as bad. But there wasn't. There was nothing. Everything about Jack was showing him as a mentor, teaching her, opening her eyes to the to the fact that Aku is evil, that all the lies she'd been told, that Aku was just this grand benevolent leader of the world. No, all that was a lie. Nope. All gone because now she's his tragic love interest. And it's like they turned her into a love interest just to kill her off to make Jack sad so they can have some pretentious ending. Like, oh yeah, you know, he accomplished his goal, but he's sad now. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. After you know, people like me, I watched this show as it aired. It was a total waste of Ashi's character. It was just an absolute waste. All the interesting things they could have done. You know, she could have been Jack's sidekick. She could have been Jack's adoptive daughter. She could have gone back to the past with him. In fact, I would have liked to have seen that. Or, you know, she could have stayed in the future and taken over his role as protector. I mean, that's another interesting idea that I saw someone propose. You know, all these interesting things, but nope, she was just reduced to being a love interest. I can't fathom anyone who's writing and says, yeah, this is great. And it's so weird because it's season 5, it had so many good episodes, so many good scenes. It was so memorable. And then you get to that last 3 episodes, and it just sucks. And it just totally veers off just to support this romance. And like I said before, you know, there were other issues with the way that the last 3 episodes were written, but this romance was a big part of why. I mean, there are other issues, particularly with the way that Jack was written. Like I said before, him giving up the sword. Like, oh yeah, you didn't just spend 50 years, you know, trying to get it back. So basically spending the season rediscovering, you know, your passion to, you know, save the world after believing that you had lost all hope. Oh, no, he just gives it up. Oh, yeah, and then apparently Jack also, for episode 8, doesn't know how modern technology works. Or in the futuristic technology, even though he's been there for 50 years. He should know. Yeah, I think some people had said it felt like his character was just totally reset back to the original series. Yeah, so all those 50 years that they built up as being so hard on him. Yeah, look on. You know, he doesn't look the same, so why would he act the same as he had been for this previous season? It's frustrating, and Ashi being turned into a love interest. I mean, there doesn't need to be a love interest. No one wanted there to be a love interest. You know, regardless of what any particular people ship, it's like no one wants there to be a love interest as the focus of the finale. When everyone wanted the series to end with Jack defeating Aku, going back to the past, beating Aku in the past, and, you know, preventing, you know, the bad future. And ideally, as I had said, you know, you have, you know, an alternate timeline where Aku's defeated in the future, and all the people we cared about, you know, they basically get to live out their lives without Aku, and Jack goes back to the past, kills Aku in the past, and then you have another timeline, so you basically have 2 timelines. That way, the entire show isn't pointless, because you have a future timeline here. Then you get the peaceful timeline from the past, where Jack gets to live with his family, all the, you know, his friends, everything, you know, in the past. Peaceful, now that Aku is gone. But no. We had to derail the show for a stupid, out of place, and random tragic romance. And just gut the series. It's honestly one of the biggest modern disappointments I've ever had, particularly after being so into it. It was such a disappointment, and that romance was so stupid. Yeah, I think that's about it to talk about with this because, gosh, you know, I feel like I'm going to repeat myself because I hate what they did in season 5. And it pisses me off because it started off so good. I was praising it. And then I had to criticize it because it turned out to be garbage. And yes, we've reduced one of the most interesting new characters introduced this season into just being fodder to make Jack sad. Thanks. Because that's what we wanted. No one wanted anything special for Ashi. No one wanted Ashi to take on an important role. No one wanted Ashi to be adopted into Jack's family so that she can actually have loving, you know, family. No. Let's just copy the ending of Gurren Lagann. Because that was a great ending. Yeah. That was a great and satisfying ending. Sarcasm. Well, that's it. Yeah, that's it for this episode. Or this video. So, if you want to submit a topic to me, you can comment below if you're on YouTube, or if you're on Tumblr, you can send me an ask and do topic, and then whatever topic you want me to talk about. Just make sure to follow the rules that I'll be posting down below. If you want to watch last week's topic video, you can check that out here. If you want to watch next week's topic video, you can check that out here when I get that done. And thank you for watching.